Alright guys, forgive the hair. I mean, it's 5 fucking o'clock in the morning out here. I don't know about you, but I don't have time to do these shows. I gotta, by 8 o'clock, I got a kid fucking screaming in there. I got my wife up my ass about doing this and doing that. And then my day goes until I basically drop from exhaustion at night, so. You know how fucking lucky you are that I'm putting out these videos. I mean, you know what it's like waking up at 5:30 and your fucking day off? Anyhow. Listen guys, I want to talk to you about, I'm burnt out on shooters. I didn't think I would ever get to this point. I'm burnt out on them. The other day I played Silent Debuggers. Bad example. What did I put in? I put in Dungeon Explorer. I said, oh my god, I can play a game with, you know, these shooters. I could finally, it's such a nice change of pace. It's like, oh, I could play a game without pulling my fucking hair out. So, you know, I figured we'd talk about a game today that ranks very high on the nostalgia ladder for me, and that game is a spectacular game. It's not a spectacular game, it's an interesting game, and it has a lot of I guess special history for the time that it came out, and we're talking about Shadow of the Beast. This is a game by today's standards. If somebody picked it up and played it, they'd probably immediately shut off the machine and cast it aside. It's just, you know, your run-of-the-mill game. But for the time that this game came out, oh my god, it was a mind-bender. It really, truly was. My experience with Shadow of the Beast started with the Sega Genesis. I remember I got this coupon deal, or it was like buy 2 EA games. I forgot. You know what? I was trying to remember what it was, and I think it was a coupon where you buy 2 EA games from Electronics Boutique, and you got some type of like spectacular deal. It had to be a spectacular deal. I got Fatal Rewind, and I got Shadow of the Beast. And Fatal Rewind might be one of the biggest piece of shit games ever made. Nobody talks about that one. Whoa. That's a rough game. And Shadow of the Beast for the Sega Genesis is a game that I wanted to love so much, because it was so strange. It was so different. The graphics were awesome. Shadow of the Beast was just the type of kind of game I liked when I was a kid. You know, monsters, wacky and wild things. Like, you're in this world and it's like, what the hell is going on? It's these insects and these floating eyeballs, and it was like, it was so interesting. I was so not into those cartoony games. I wasn't a big Super Mario guy. I wanted to see games like, I was like Castlevania, you know, this type of thing. Real life things like spaceship shooters. Real, you know, like real life, like spaceships. No, but like robots and things like this. I wanted to see adult things. I didn't want to see kiddie crap. So here we go. Shadow of the Beast fit that bill. But the problem with the Sega Genesis version is the hit detection. And I remember watching YouTubers talk about video games and how bad they were and hit detection. And I was like, hit detection, what is that? Hit detection, hit detection. And then I slowly started to learn. And the first game I thought of when I finally got what hit detection was Shadow of the Beast for the Sega Genesis. Oh my god, you had to time your punches perfectly. And the game was so fucking hard. It was so difficult. So I remember when the PC Engine launched its Super CD versions of games. Now the Super CD, guys, it would say Super CD right here. And the Super CD just took things to a whole new level. It utilized, if you had the Turbo Duo, it utilizes the extra RAM built into the Turbo Duo. If you had the standard TurboGrafx CD player, you needed the RAM expansion card to play these games. I mean, guys, this was high end. This was it. This was a brief moment where the TurboGrafx 16, a Turbo Duo, was almost on top of the world. So I remember I went into, but you go into Electronics Boutique and they'd have a selection of maybe like 4 games. And I remember seeing for this, I had some cash and I was gonna buy a game, and I don't know if you guys experience this sometimes. You'd have money and you were going to the game store and you weren't leaving the game store without a game. It would have just been devastating to leave without a game. So it was like, no matter what was there, I was gonna buy something. Because you got so excited as a kid, you waited so long to build up this money. It was like when you went there, I just wasn't, I'm coming home with something. So I went there and I remember what was on the shelves. It was like Buster Brothers, the CD games. It was like Buster Brothers. It was like Riot Zone, which was like a beat 'em up, which was like, all right, that looks a little cool. It was Shapeshifter. I remember Riot Zone, Shapeshifter were both Super CD games. And then there was Shadow of the Beast. And I remember picking it up and thinking to myself, the Nightmare version, the Sega Genesis version was so difficult, I couldn't get off the second board. I mean, this game doesn't really have boards, but... So I picked up this version and I looked at the back of the cover art. And I went, could this be the game? And I bought it for nefarious reasons. I bought it because I wanted to give it to the Sega Genesis guys in school. And when I got Shadow of the Beast home, okay, number one, you turn it on and you had cutscenes that the Sega Genesis didn't have. You had Red Book CD quality sound that the Sega Genesis didn't have. You had graphics that were arguably on par or better than the Sega Genesis. And you had gameplay that couldn't be matched. It was perfect. The hit detection was perfect. It was perfect. I said, this is it. This is the Sega Genesis killer. And guys, I don't know, it made me like this game so much that I could go to the guys in school and say, you know, when you'd have these, these battles in school about the Sega Genesis and the TurboGrafx and whatnot, I'd say, you know what? Shadow of the Beast for the TurboGrafx Super CD is a lot better than the Sega Genesis. And they'd be like, Shadow of the what? Because nobody even played it for the Sega Genesis because it was such a piece of shit game. So I basically might as well have been talking to, the latch on the locker. So guys, here's a game released originally, I think in 1989. Developed by Reflections and published by Psygnosis. This is my first experience with a Psygnosis game. And I'll never forget because it used to be, when the intro started, it would start with that epic. And I mean, guys, the music in this game is so epic. I mean, this can battle it out with Ys Book 1 and 2 for epic game music. And for, as far as I'm concerned, most epic game music of all time. Not chip music, I'm talking about CD. I think this and Ys Book 1 and 2, it's tough to beat. This is the PC Engine version. They also have the, naturally, the TurboGrafx 16 version. It doesn't, I don't think it matters. I don't, the Japanese or the English version, it doesn't matter. There's no text in game. There's no voiceover in game. It's basically a visual game. This is a very visual game. Released for like every console you can even imagine. The Sega Genesis, the Sega Master System, Atari Lynx, the Amstrad, the Commodore 64, a lot of systems. The Atari Lynx. But what this game did, this game is heavy on the music, heavy on the graphics. The graphics were sensational for the time. They were really truly groundbreaking graphics. Oh, the Amiga! It originally came out on the Amiga. Look at me. And at the time, the developers picked the Amiga as the platform to develop it on because they wanted to push the Amiga to the absolute limits. And I will say, visually, the Amiga version is marginally better than the TurboGrafx version. Maybe a little better than marginally, but I hate to admit that. But musically, this is the definitive version of Shadow of the Beast. If you could have the music from this and the graphics from the Amiga, I mean, you got the all-star version of Shadow of the Beast. And the gameplay, I don't know, I've never played the Amiga version, so that's up in the air. Basically a platforming game. You don't. This was also my first experience in a platforming game where you didn't necessarily have to go to the right. You could go to the left, and that would, believe it or not, back then was something a little different. I remember it's a bit of a platforming game with hints of puzzle, hints of exploration. You can see where it's grounded. It has its roots in a computer-based system, I guess. It doesn't seem like your average console platformer. Boss fights, a little disappointing. The Beast basically has a punch and a kick and a jump, and they're not very spectacular. You can pick up other things along the way. It's not the most spectacular thing. It's basically a very fun. This is a very fun game to play. It's not very hard. I think there's 6 levels, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. The levels melt into each other, so it's hard to determine, you know, which is which. But it's such a fun, especially if you're burnt out on shooters like I am. You could sit down with this game, enjoy it, you know, listen to it, watch it, think about, you know, the programmers and the art involved in the development of this game. Very fun to do that. But anyway, I mean, listen, now that everybody's thoroughly bored to death, let's check out some gameplay. Alright, here we go. Come on. Okay. And begin. I haven't played this. Listen, when I first got it, this was I don't know, it feels like a year ago I got this game. But oh guys, listen to the music coming in. Unbelievable. This is like when you watch a movie these days and they have all these production studios. Guys, this was like all different programs were coming together for this. The guys that designed the game, the guys that published the game. You had Psygnosis, Victor. I guess they were the music guys. DMA Designs. I don't know who they were. Anyhow, we can go on with that music. All right, let's get started. I guess we'll watch the intro. I mean, listen, my favorite part of the introduction is when the boy, you're like this good-looking young man, and then, you know, you turn into this filthy, disgusting beast. It's a beautiful night. So yeah, when this kid, when he turns into the beast, he lets out this groan. It's the funniest thing you're ever going to hear in your life. I tell you, these load times are egregious. I'm sorry, they weren't like this on the American version. That is for damn sure. That's funny. I wonder if there's a difference between the PC Engine and the American version. This is crazy. Oh, I certainly remember it being a lot more fluid than this. Jesus Christ, this is like Neo Geo CD type of loading times. Come on, you can... Oh! Maybe you do need the American version. Now, this is probably just telling the story here, you know. Listen, you're a guy, they turn you into a fucking animal, and now you gotta fight. What else do you need to know? Did I say good-looking guy? He's holding his face because he can't believe the loading times. Oh Christ, this is preposterous. Look at this. It's alright, there's a... Listen to this. That's what I sound like when I wake up in the morning to go to work. Alright, let's stop the jokes. Alright, let's get serious, guys, because, listen, I'm going to keep my mouth shut. Because this music is going to be beyond epic. Look at this, the parallax scrolling, the music, the atmosphere. I'm going to come. Alright, let's get started. A few things you're going to notice about this game. Alright, I'll show you the punch, I'll show you the kick. The punch, by the way, it sounds like a punch out of a Jackie Chan movie. When you actually make contact with something. Alright, here we go. You jump, you punch, you jump kick. There you go. I think my button's a little screwed. Alright, here we go. Let's do this. Alright, see the little trap in the floor? All these years later, you can't get me. Alright, this is what really separated the men from the boys. Little intermissions like this between levels. I don't even know if you call it levels, but different areas. I mean, this is something I don't think any of the other games had. And what an this loading time! Alright. Oh my god, look at the frames of animation. I'm going crazy. Alright, here we go. We got the lady next door. Okay, first order of business, we have to get the, I don't know what it is. It's like some type of bracelet that gives you the ability to shoot a fireball, so. Jesus. Alright, you want to know what this is like? It's like Kung Fu on an alien planet. It's like Kung Fu Prometheus. Kung Fu meets Prometheus. Okay, here we go. Guys, I know this game like the back of my hand. It's been all these years. Okay, we got the bracelet. See that? Now we can shoot off fireball. If we take that warp, it warps us right to the boss for this level. I think we're gonna take the long way, just so we can absorb that music. Huh? How about it, guys? Oh, you know what? That's a bad move. It's a bad move because I think we only have a certain amount of shots with this weapon, so I'm not going to screw around. We're going straight to force. Alright, here we go. This guy, you get hit by this guy, it's a one-hit death. You gotta be careful. Not that it's a hard boss. Alright, here we go. And then we move on to, I don't know what you call it, another level, another section. I don't know. It's got different music. Okay. Alright, we gotta switch here. To be honest with you, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to hit it now or later. I'm gonna hit it. Look at the animation on this guy. His pecs jump up and down. Come on. Panic right here and get yourself into a lot of trouble, let me tell you right now. What was the coupon? Look at this thing. It's just left so much to the imagination. You say, look at this big thing. What was this thing? What killed it? It was like little things like that. Oh, good, by the way, good luck getting through this on the Sega version. Got some food there, that's good. You see this? This is the well over here. Start to get an idea what's going on. Faster. A little stiff, I will admit. Look at that. That was beautiful to see back then. I can't even tell you. It's true. Oh, okay, we gotta keep running. We gotta keep running and then jump. Like, look at this thing. This was like, what was that, a dinosaur? They got its head in a cage? Why is the head in a cage? Was it still alive? Okay, I think up here is where we get the we're looking for the power punch. Look, and it's even called the Power Punch. Come on. See that little ring around my wrist? Power Punch. Got rockets down here because that's what you normally have attached to the ceiling in an underground cave. I'm not sure if we go up there. I don't think we do. Whoa. Okay. We're getting rocked. Oh no, this isn't good. We got him. Let's get the fuck out of here. It's locked! Oh my god, I don't have the key. Where's the fucking key? Oh my god. Oh, I thought we had it. Where's the key? Oh, no. You're gonna let me continue. Come on. Oh my god, look at that. 12 bars of energy and you're out. Alright, let's get back to where we were before. Okay, so we're back, and basically, and basically the key was in the first level. It was, we just had to go down I'm sparing you because we had to go down a ladder and on the other level and find it. It was right there, just missed it, so. We have the key, let's go. And only 5 energy. Christ almighty. I'm still going to do a video on ladder animations in video games. This one cracks me up. Look at him. He looks so out of proportion going up this ladder. So I guess we were down in the well. I don't know why we went in down that tree stump and there was a sign on it that said home. I don't know why. It doesn't seem like that would be his home. Not a very friendly place to call home, but I guess we're climbing out of this area now. We got 5 energy. I'm going to try to take it slow because that's not a lot of energy. Okay, so that's the well where we started. Let's go. Oh, jeez. I'm sorry, but I'm just taking it slow. You know something? This is one of these games where shit just pops out of everywhere, and you wind up dying, and then the next time you play, you get a little further, because you gotta memorize it again. Man, am I foggy on all this stuff. I used to know this front and back. Alright, let's go. I'm on these horns, alright. Spider. Horn. I mean, look at the amount of parallax scrolling. You're talking about, it's almost like 12, maybe 13 separate levels of parallax scrolling. Unprecedented for the time, especially on the TurboGrafx 16. Alright, here we go. Jesus. I just want to make it to the castle. Can I make it to the castle? Look at that hand coming out of the ground. Come on. How cool is that? It's got the skin ripped off. Damn you. Christ almighty. Alright, we gotta do that again. We'll get back to where we were before. I gotta brush up a little bit. Okay, I just had to run out and get a quick haircut. So where were we? We were at the hands, right? Alright. Let's get back in there. Now, my goal is to get to the castle. Once we get in the castle, God knows what's going to happen, so. Let's get started. And begin. All right, here we go. Oop. Really not trying to lose any energy here. Okay, let's really think this out. You can't really think this out though. You kind of got to run for it. Here we go. Ah, bastard. Okay, we're at the end. Here we go, we're at the castle. Wow, we got some energy, so let's go for it. Whew, my palms are sweaty. Jesus Christ. I always thought that one was a little cheap. Could have worked a little harder on that one. Alright, let's see how we do. I remember the castle being hard. Guys, there's a stage here that's a shooter stage where you're flying around. I mean, you know, it's an interesting game. Oh God. Right or left? Let's go left. Up or down? Jesus Christ, I don't remember. Let's go left. Oh, give me potion. Give me potion somewhere. Alright, listen. Alright, that's all I can stomach, guys. We got to the castle, alright? What more do you want? You want to see more? Buy the fucking game. I'm Bithead1000. You just tuned into the greatest video game program in the history of human civilization. I'll see you next time.